Hey everyone, welcome back to day 17 on this job site, the last final day of framing. Today we're going to get all these gables closed up, we're going to get all these fly rafters finished, and we'll get everything done, ready so we can install windows. So stay tuned to see how we finish up these houses to the end. And if you haven't already, make sure that you like and subscribe so that you can see window day and the start of the next house from the beginning. Anyway, we got some big gables to finish up, so let's get to work. If you've been following along, you've probably already seen some gable work already, but if you're new, I'm going to be explaining everything I do as I go along. We're just starting off with a full sheet, get both sides tacked, and then nail off all the studs. The 16-inch layout at the bottom doesn't fully match the 2-foot layout on the trusses, so where the plywood split, we'll put a block in between to help sturdy it up.
Count bodies like sheep to the rhythm of the war drums. Go back to sleep. Go back to sleep. Yes. You know I do that. You know I do that. Counting bodies like sheep. Counting bodies. Bugs? I call him Bugsy.
It's easier to nail it through the plywood first and then nail it to the framing afterwards. Make sure to remember to pull your helper nails so it doesn't poke your paper out. When we're coming in sideways on the basket like this, it's best just to do everything you can in the section so you don't have to move the machine as much. So I'll be switching a lot between doing paper, nailing on the fly blocks, nailing on the plywood, and doing the fly rafters. While I'm outside finishing up all the gables, the guys inside are doing everything you need to do before the other trades come in. They're getting all the permanent bracing set in the attics. They're getting everything prepped for the windows and doors. And they're getting all the finished blocks in for the drywallers, electricians, things like that. This tree was in my way, so I chopped off a few branches. In hindsight, I should have chopped off a few more because it looks like it kept getting in my way. But we're chugging along here with another full sheet. Make sure everything is nice and tight and above the other one. Sometimes it does slide down and you won't catch it before you get to the other side.
Like, just going out?
The tree was in the way for him to get his basket all the way over where I needed it to go, so I did some monkeying around here so I could get some numbers for these sheets. For him to get it, he would have had to take the machine all the way around to the front, and we have some work to do in the back still, so we don't want to move the machine just yet. Putting this sheet on right here is doable. It's just kind of a pain because it's not a good leverage point for me. These sheets are decently heavy and I only cut like a small triangle off of it, so I'm going to struggle a little bit. I'm going to just nail off what I can and get the rest when we circle back up front. Just a simple piece from the factory on the right side with a small top number and a longer bottom number. This cutoff piece was almost perfect, but I did have to trim it by like a half an inch. I went with the number that I pulled just to be safe because I didn't want to waste too much time. Now since we got the majority of it plywooded, we're going to get a big piece of paper on. The standard method I do is get it nice and straight all the way across the bottom. Go up straight from the middle, pulling it tight as you go. Then pull it tight from one side at a time, getting all that slack out as you go. Make sure you're stapling more than just the perimeter. If you don't staple the field, wind will get behind it, causing these large air bubbles, and it just looks ugly before the siding gets on. Get it as tight as you can to the roof plywood, and then just cut it down the seam.
Where we have a back attached to a dumpster, might be right on top. More near the roadside of the dumpster. Yep.
While we're here, since we got some paper on, we're going to do some fly blocks as well. This one is basically a full piece with small triangles cut out on the side. I found out where 8 foot will break on each side. I took an up measurement to where it'll hit the roof plywood. From that number, I marked out the roof pitch angle and then just cut it from there. That way you could utilize as much of the sheet as you can without as much cut off. That just leaves 3 little triangle pieces to finish off this peak. And when you're plywooding gables, this is why it's always good to keep your scrap, because you get pieces like this that just fit perfectly. Now we're going to switch back to the stapler to finish off this paper.
All right.
For these type of triangles, you just need to get a total bottom number and then a total up and down number. Make a straight line going up the halfway point, and then that's where your angles will meet at your up and down number. I had a big wrinkle, so I just cut right through it, and then you just fold it over itself. Then I put some Tyvek tape on it just to give it some extra security. Now we're mostly ready to finish up the fly blocks and the fly rafters. I like to nail the fly blocks every 4 foot on the plywood seams. You can use either 1 or 2 fly blocks at the peak, it just depends on your preference. I just take my number from my plywood down to my other fly rafter, and then the cut man will take that into account when he gets the right measurement. So here it is, I just slam it tight to the other rafter, and then make sure that it's flush with the fly blocks. We usually like to add an extra block at the seam as well, it just helps when you're making it nice and straight. And at top it should meet halfway with the ridge, or my fly block if you don't have a normal ridge installed. He's going to eyeball from the bottom to make sure that it's nice and straight. I'm going to get it all nailed off and then trimmed to length. I just pop a full line from the bottom to the top just to be exact. On this side, I'm going to be cutting down the roof. On the other side, I'll be cutting up the roof. And that's so the majority of the saw table will be sitting on the roof, so the cut will be more stable.
Name of the game is the Lightworks. So good. Alright, I'm gonna go nail it off. Give me another minute.
It's better to cut first and then nail, so then you're not accidentally sawing through any of the nails. I'm going to be nailing off the gable truss completely and the fly rafter. I'm going to get the upper fly rafter for the front side before we move the basket around. This one just has the roof pitch angle at the top, which will match the other rafter, and then a square end, so then we could finish it off at the bottom. Now we just got a little bit more to go before we finish up this side of the gable. I had to cut a tiny angle off this piece.
Bring a scale, ginger lingers. Villain. Shit. What? Gables! Crap. Isn't that working, right? Why do you use one of those small triangles?
I'm going to have my coworker give me a scrap piece so I'm not cutting this out of a full piece.
Yes, sir. Isn't that root sheet right there? Isn't that rubber sheet right there? Name of the game is the Lightworks.
Just a little 2-foot rip piece with 2 up numbers and a small angle.
Maybe up a little bit. Yep. Oh, yeah. Yeah, paper. Name of the game is the Lightworks. Holy shit. Big nasty spider. Name of the game is the penis.
Those red dashes help to keep your spacing straight, as well as cutting straight pieces.
Going down, that's funny, jump in traffic. Everyone got the gun feeling unsafe. Hope you come free cab. I think like maybe two, possibly. No. On one hand, it's pretty gross. On the other, it's sort of like a pretty desert road. I was just all odds with a wet Saturday or an Saturday like size privately. Box in the hen house. Say cheese to a trench mouth. Cheese. Cost is suitable for a job at the bell tower. Pretty big lamp. But I literally can't. Because this is always everything in the van. Really, it's like we can't. Only the Tuesday. When I'm gone, it's a brown facing mechanical epic.
Now we got the finisher piece for the fly rafter. This piece just has the roof pitch angle at the bottom and then a square cut at the top.
Yeah. Huh? So heavy?
This was a little long at the bottom, so I did have to take off like a quarter. Then just lift it up tight and nail it flush with the fascia.
First one? Okay. Yeah. And what do you want to do?
He can eyeball it for straight at the bottom, and then I'll just beat it in or out.
In or out? Right there. Alright, just take me out enough a little bit. I'll trim and nail it all. Just take the half-baked corn dog.
It was pretty good, so I'm gonna get it all cut and nailed.
It's amazing. Turn out your mom. Let's go. Piece of shit.
And with that, that'll be the end of this house, and we're gonna move on to the gable on the far side for the other house. After this, all the main wood framing parts for these houses are gonna be all done.
I need another big battery. Blir like idiom. Börjar med något. Alltså, fucking house like det kan komma. The Afro villain is back. A metal shingle? Oh my god. Are you serious? A metal shingle.
Just like the last gable, we're going to do full sheets when we can until we have to start cutting them.
Mine. Oh.
For this piece, I'm going to take this scrap and then mark it where it breaks halfway on that cord.
We also have full ski. It's crazy as a coconut. It's crazy as a coconut. Man, what's going on? That boy is therapy. Actually, take me up a little bit more. House clowning. Huh? It's gonna rain him. Like Chet 2.0.
I mark 4 foot so I could get my top number. I just got to pull from my left, and then my bottom is going to be 8 foot long.
You know that I'm useless. I ain't happy. You know that I'm useless. Like, the definition of life is priceless. When you take a on the house and like it, also like this one. In a bag, I'm useless. Rhythm, you have it, or you don't, that's a fallacy. You see what you see the What's the view around the motherfuckers remember what the thought is? the sun. Over here. Here's the conspiracy theory. Donald Trump killed Charlie Kirk. How come he posted the rest in peace tweet 3 hours before he got shot? Him and Netanyahu both posted a rest in peace tweet 3 hours before he got shot. They had it pre-submitted. I'm gonna need to buy some more. I don't really got much leverage right here. Yeah, I'll try this off. What's the rhymes? Oh, that boy, I'm beginning to be like a rap guy.
We're gonna move down and get some paper done now. Once again, get your whole bottom stapled nice and straight, then pull up tight from the middle all the way to the top, and then go from each side from there.
Tired. Okay, keep taking me back to the top.
These are the nubbins I mentioned a long way back when we did these truss stringers. Instead of cutting them off right then with the saw, it's a lot more annoying to do it with the sawzall now. You gotta get it nice and flush though, so it doesn't mess with the plywood.
Check it out. Is the product mine or yours, pig? This one out to you. This one out to you, and you, big. This one out to you. This one out to you, and you. That brush so cold, really stuck to the top. So, now stay low and keep up. Got that grip on back. Break it, baby. That's how we're Come on, man. Come on, focus on. Jesus, get up the notorious. Jesus, bust. Who sent you? I'll go out. Bruised up. Web on the neck was stripping. And I'm dipping up the block. And I'm robbing bitches too. I want to get pregnant. Go down anywhere. The mom dude ain't giving me shit. So bread and butter in the gutter. Lazier than a bag of fucking angel dust. I'm all that in a time set. Where's the paper? Come on, bitch. It's a stick up. It's the opposite of these sending my Google. With the blood on my shirt. Don't be a jerk and get smoked over being resistant. When I like shots and shit's persistent. Where the cash at? Before you get your ranked up on the main cup, 357 sucks. One in the chamber, 32 in the clip. Motherfucker better script. So where you find out how blue steel feel? The money got the motherfucker don't got the. I'm taking in pockets, motherfuckers can't stop. And when I rock, I'm taking another one.
This is the last piece of paper that we had on the job site. Unfortunately, we can't get this patched up until later when we come back on a future date.
Yeah, taking out.
I leave space at the bottom though, so then when we do get the next piece, you could tuck it up under it.
Right, taking out. One of my nails was gay and wasn't good. No. What's going on here? I don't even know what's stopping me. It just keeps messing up. I have no idea why that happened. Okay. I'm out. I got more. What size today? Yeah, I just got two.
I'm going to cut a couple of these fly blocks with this scrap 2x6 I have. Just like the other fly rafters, slide it tight to the fascia and nail it to the blocks.
Right. Okay.
Right there, it may have seemed like I barely tapped my finger with my hammer, but just small hits can really hurt on your fingers. It broke the skin and it wouldn't stop bleeding, so I did have to get down soon after to get it wrapped up.
Yeah.
I got my finger wrapped up, and now we're going to finish this fly rafter off with the top piece.
Grab the back of the flat. Oh.
I have a small gap here, but that's fine. It'll get covered in metal afterwards.
Here again.
The fly was straight, so I get it all nailed off.
Hey, baby. Oh. Nail it? Now right here.
My coworker added some type of nailer or stud in the dormer, so I nail it through the plywood just to help sturdy it up.
Yeah. Yep. Okay.
I only have a few sections to trim on this side.
One or two. Okay. Yeah, can you take it down? I need to check my finger. I think it's bleeding all up in this tape.
Now we're just going to get this side sheeted, paper what we can. finish off the fly, and then we're all set with the framing.
Oh, dang. Whoa. Oh, yeah. Yep.
And that's the last bit of paper we do on this job until we get the extra roll.
Yep.
Now we just gotta finish up this last fly rafter, and we're all set with both of these roofs.
I got. Oh, oh. Are you crazy? the peak. Well. You get attacked by a butterfly? Come on, Kobe. Be real. Alright, we see. This one?
I just gotta hit this out a little bit to get it straight.
Not getting it.
So while I get this roof trimmed up, I'm gonna go ahead and let you know what the game plan is. This video will be the last of the woodwork on these two houses. On the next video, we'll be installing all the windows along with some of the doors. I know this was a weird job to start my channel on. We don't usually do two houses at once, but moving forward, it's just gonna be one unique house at a time. But I have two houses filmed already. It looks like the next one I'm going to upload is the one that we manually stick framed. So I'm excited to show you guys what we normally do for most of our normal houses. But of course, like always, if you're liking the content, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or any feedback, make sure you leave me a comment. And if you want to see us install all these windows, definitely make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next video. This is Old Dirty Carpenter, and I'll see you next week.
That line is garbage. Just a little bit. My gosh. I gotta nail it. I got sawdust all right there. Oh, wow. Gauges go down.